Hey reefers, Acro breeder posting a video for January 2020. This is my 40-gallon breeder. Continued good growth and coloration. 2-part consumption steadily increasing. I've managed to do some pretty heavy fragging here on this tricolor, giving some of the corals below some room to grow, some light to take in. My cyano has increased in this tank. I finally did some testing and I've discovered my nutrients are near non-existent. I've never really tested for nitrates or phosphates in the 4 or 5 years I've been in this hobby. I finally went ahead and got a Red Sea algae control test kit. It's a low-range nitrate and phosphate. So here's my numbers for the 3 tanks. I've got alkalinity for the 3. Magnesium, it was low on both the 75 and the breeder, so I'm upping it. I don't have any daily dosage currently. I'm thinking about implementing that so I don't have to keep manually dosing every month. It seems to be a regular issue. So I'm increasing my alkalinity and calcium a little bit. Numbers are a little bit lower than I like. And my nitrates on the 40 breeder is 0.25 and 0.01 on phosphate, which is below what the Red Sea recommends. I kind of follow this to a T almost. And for SPS dominant, they do recommend 0.25 to 0.5, 0.01 to 0.02. So I am on the low end of that, but I think if I increase those numbers, maybe my cyano or dianos, who really knows what it is? I don't think anyone knows. Issues may be solved. So I'm going to increase my feeding on the 40-gallon breeder. On the 75, similar issues with the magnesium. I had to bump it up a little bit. Alkalinity and calcium, which is good. Consumption's starting to increase after last month. I had a big setback with some magnesium issues. I'm pretty happy with the nitrate being at 0.75 and the phosphate at 0.02. I don't seem to have any bacteria or dino or any issues like that in that tank. I do have some hair algae. On my seahorse fusion, I just tested alkalinity, seems fine. Nitrates and phosphates, a little bit low considering it's not an SPS tank, it is zoanthids. So I'm gonna up the feeding on the seahorse tank. So back to some coral footage here. Coloration's doing really good in here. There was a little bit of a setback. I had some drama here right around the holiday season. My emergency drain for my air conditioner, the air handler, is right above the tank. I would not recommend this to anyone setting up a tank. The pipe, one of the welds on it broke and it leaked onto the drywall on the ceiling. It collapsed, water got in the tank, water got all over the floor. So there was a little recession on some of the corals. They didn't like whatever was in that water that was running through the air conditioner coils, but they have rebounded. Color's doing pretty good. I'm gonna start fragging some of these acan colonies here on the glass. As you can see, appears to be cyano, but with the nutrients being non-existent, it's got to be some kind of dino, is what I'm thinking. So hopefully the increased feeding, I'm going to keep track of the numbers consistently for the first time. I can get that and check for once. Frag tank, I got some breathing room in there. I was able to make some trades and turn some into some local fish stores. I had many duplicates. I had 15, 20 of the same frag, so I kind of got it down to where I'm not all jammed up with a bunch of the same thing. So that what leads me to fragging out some of these acans, getting some variety in my frag selection. I did increase the lighting settings on my AI primes and both of my frag tanks. I just felt like I wasn't getting anything close to the coloration in the main tank, so I increased the whites. So I'll report back later, see how that goes. You can see where I cut some chunks out here. All the fish in this tank are happy. I noticed this yellow tang does seem to be a little on the thin side, so I'm gonna start giving him some extra attention, giving him some nori. Hopefully he will fatten up a little bit. All right, 75 gallon. The coloration this month drastically improved. You can see these red planet ends here on the branches starting to color up. This colony is almost completely recovered green. Just overall color is coming back. Now I do have this issue here with a matte type algae and green hair algae. I don't know if my tang is on strike in this tank or what, but I haven't really had a chance to manually remove. I've just been kind of letting it run its course. I'm considering dosing Vibrant. That's why I initially purchased the Red Sea algae control, because when you dose Vibrant, you need to keep close eye on nutrients, as I think it tends to plummet them from the research I've done. So as you can see, these colonies are really starting to color up. So I'm pretty happy with the progress here. I am also dealing with some algae in the seahorse tank. So I do plan on dosing Vibrant in this tank as well. My gorgonians are open and happy for once for a video. You can see the seahorses are hanging out. I'm going to do a feeding. Show you their feeding response. So this is more food than I normally do feed, but I am increasing it due to the nitrates being 0.25, phosphates 0.01. So the way I feed these guys is I put the food in, I got a power head in there, I kind of let everything disperse through the water column. And as you can see, they can barely hunt, so I turn off the pump I have on a smart plug. So on my phone, I just have a little app, I turn it off. And then they make their way out, start to feed. Yeah, he's got a piece. He's hitching a ride on a, looks like a snail there. It's a pretty common occurrence. So I'll just give them about 15-20 minutes to cruise around. They should liven up here in a minute. They'll even go through the gorgonians and pick out the mysis shrimp that gets hung up on their polyps. Maybe I'll come back and see if their feeding response increases a little bit. All right, I have some food staged up here. I do use the Red Sea Coral Nutrition A and B. And I have increased the dosing on that on the 40 gallon. Not so much here on the 75, as the nutrients levels are in an acceptable range. So everyone's happy here. Here's the mystery wrasse. This fish is very entertaining to watch, but definitely skittish. Fiji, the pink fin fairy wrasse, is definitely the dominant presence currently. Frags down below, I also thinned out. So I got some breathing room. As you can see, my euphyllias I have down here are starting to recover. The polyps are coming out. So thinking about chopping this thing up, getting rid of it. I'm not really interested in them. I'm more into SPS. I also have one here starting to recover. And the acans I removed from the main display, like this one right here in the front, was a rainbow acan, a single polyp I got maybe 3 months ago, turned almost completely brown. It is starting to get color back. since I got the magnesium in check, as well as the other ones. You can see they're starting to puff up. So that's encouraging. Colors have also increased on the frags in the frag tank. I had posted in a video earlier of my Trocus snails breeding. I have one here in a small dish. Focus. I can get it to focus. So this is the size of them. Go ahead and get them back in there. I did remove the rocks that I had holding up this frag rack and put in some PVC to help keep the flow up, the detritus down, and my ease of access a little bit easier. So it's nice to see the snails reproducing. Oh, I forgot to show. Let's check back in here. The Trocus snails are breeding in here. You can see the snail eggs on the glass. I think one of them accidentally ate their own eggs, but these sacks have been there for about a week, so I'm curious to see if they hatch out. There isn't any fish in here that would eat the larvae or the babies, so hopefully they'll make it and I can spread them amongst the other tanks. Zoanthids are doing good. I do have one anemone in here. He's getting to a size that's making me nervous with the seahorses. I may remove it. I got maybe 18 or so different types of zoanthids in here, all making some progress. So because I don't have any herbivore fish in here, I do struggle with algae. So I'm gonna try out the Vibrant at the minimum dosage and steadily increase it and see how it turns out. See what the seahorses are up to. Yeah, they're picking around. All right, well, that's all I got for this week. I'll report back on how Vibrant works out on both the 75 with this matte algae and hair algae, and the hair algae in the seahorse tank. All right, thanks for watching.